Welcome back, folks. It is December 12th. We are here in Austin, Texas, and I have 2 days to go until my Lodge live stream. It's going to be a 5-10 game, most likely a 5-10-20, and let's be realistic, it's most likely going to be a 5-10-25-50. With me here, I have a special guest. 20,000 US dollars that I'm willing to put on the line on Thursday. But for now, I'm going to head on down to the Lodge, get myself a little bit acquainted with the room, and chuck all this money into a security deposit box. Let's head out. This is probably the most exciting episode to date. It is 8:30 in the morning, December 14th. Got my coffee. We have 6 hours until the live stream starts. So I'm gonna get some breakfast, go to the gym, pack a lunch, head on over to the Lodge early, play some 1-3, because I am a little bit nervous about this. So gonna play some 1-3, shake out those nerves, get used to handling the chips, and make sure I've got everything ready. I have $20,000 in chips, ready to go to battle. Hoping for a soft lineup, but if we do get a table full of high stakes crushers, we're just gonna have to go to battle. See you guys in a bit. All right, folks, it's 11:45 a.m. I am now heading to the Lodge Casino card room. Got my protein shake. I ate well today. A really nice gym session. I'm feeling it. Today is going to be a huge session for me, I think. I'm just going to try and play my best. I'm going to get down there, play about an hour of 1-3, just get a little warmed up, and then we're going to jump straight into the Lodge live stream. I'll see you guys shortly. Alright guys, it is 1:15 p.m. Right over there is the Champions room where I'll be playing 5-10 with a $10 big blind ante. It is 2K max, match the stack. I don't know who's playing yet. I did run into Doug Polk on the way in though. Thankfully he is not playing today, but I'm excited. An hour to go till the cards are in the air. Let's get it.
From the Lodge Mahal in beautiful Austin, Texas, welcome to the Lodge live stream. We've got a fun one today, folks. It's 5-10, $10 big blind ante, 2K cap, match the stack. Some of your favorite Lodge players are at the table and some new ones. Buffalo Sam from Vancouver. And his first time ever to the Lodge, I think, was on 2 days ago. So he's in to play his first ever live stream. Buffalo Sam in seat 1, bought in for 2K. Everyone in for 2K. Pierre in seat 2. TM is in seat 3. Bones, seat 4. Lee Orts, who just won that hand, seat 5. Dat, the return of Dat's Boba, located in Hutto, Texas. Dat's Boba is in seat 6. Big Daddy Chaz, the man himself, who said he was up until 6:30 this morning playing poker in San Antonio. What dedication to the game, Big Daddy Chaz. And, of course, one of my all-time favorites, Mo Money, is in seat 8.
Yeah. What a lineup we've got. This is no joke of a table. Eventually, we do get two legends of the game, high-stakes crusher Alex, a.k.a. British Bulldog, as well as Alan that joined the table. Now, I have not yet watched the recordings, but I do feel like I got bluffed quite a bit and bullied out of a few pots, so I'm very excited to see what my opponents had. I will be voicing my thought process as it happened during the game, but I'm also going to be pretty excited to see what my opponents had. Let's get into it. From the very first hand, the $25 straddle was live. This is a 5-10-25 game with a $10 big blind ante, and it even got as big as a 5-10-25-50 100 game near the end. A huge jump in stakes for me from 2-5. I started the session quite card dead. In fact, the entire session I didn't pick up too many hands, but anyways, this is hand number 5, and I pick up 10-8 suited in the small blind. Lee has raised it up to $55 from early position. Mo Money has called on the button, and this should mostly be a fold. It's too weak to squeeze, especially against someone from early position, but I want to make a good first impression. This is my first live stream, so
I toss in the call, and TM also calls in the straddle. We go 4 ways to a flop of ace, king, deuce with 1 diamond. Checks to Lee. He fires out about a half pot bet here. Mo money gets out the way. And against maybe a quarter pot sizing, we could consider a very low frequency raise. But an ace, king, deuce board is going to be so good for the early position raiser. So I am just going to get out of the way and move on to the next hand. Hand number 13, action folds around to Mo money on the button, who raised it up to $75. I look down at Jack 9 suited. This is a 3-bet or fold spot, so I make it a full 4x to $300. Pierre to my left is now in the tank. Not what you want to see me at Jack 9 suited, and he does decide that that is not enough money and cold 4 bets all the way up to $775. I'm pretty much done with the hand at this point, but once Mo money calls, I start thinking, my hand's got pretty good clearance here, as most of my opponent's 4-bet ranges for 4 bets, for cold 4-bet as well as the 4-bet call, are going to be queen and higher. So I think we got some good clearance, we got a good price to call, so I toss it in and we go to a 9-high flop. I check it over to Pierre, who fires out a C-bet of $550. Mo money gets out the way, and now it's on me. I don't think check raising top pair is a thing in 4-bet pots, so just gonna toss in the call here. We head to the turn. It is no help to us. It is the deuce of clubs. I check it over to Pierre, who thinks for a bit and then goes all in. I'd already decided while he was in the tank that if you put any more money in, I just think he's got it. I don't think he'd be going too crazy with a hand like ace king or ace 5 suited here. I just think we're beat too often to hero this off, so I fold. And lucky for us, we were actually just dead from start to finish, so at least we got away from that one. The nit game is on, and just 4 hands later, we are dealt pocket 8s. Mo money is raised under the gun to $75. I'm next to act, and I toss in the call. So does Pierre, so does Bones, and so does Dat. And now it's on Big Daddy Chaz in the straddle, who squeezes it up to $700. I think it's just like a super good spot for him to be squeezing. And I think he's going to be doing it quite wide here. Mo now puts his entire stack of $1,100 into the middle, and this guy is crazy. He could have a ton of hands here. I decided to try and reshove to try and ISO Mo and try and get a heads up, but folds back around to Chaz, who is not a folding man. He tosses in the call. We're going 3 ways all into this flop. And it comes down ace queen 3. Mo is now in the lead with top pair. Unfortunately, there are no more 8s left in the deck. The turn is the 9 of clubs. River, 6 of hearts. We do pick up the side pot. I think the graphics were wrong in this. I remember counting my stack after winning this hand, and I think I had roughly 2,400, so I think they're a little bit off here. Hand number 26, we are under the gun with ace queen offsuit and raise it up to $75. TM, Bones, and Chaz make the call, and now Mo Money puts in the squeeze up to $275. Last time he did this, he had 10-8 suited, so I am not a big believer here. I'm just going to reshove here, clear the field, and try to get it all in versus what I assume is going to be a dominated hand a lot of the time. It gets through everyone, but unfortunately Mo does make the call, and he does have ace-king here, so we are the ones who are dominated, going all into a flop, and it comes down 7-6 deuce. No help to us. The turn, another deuce, so we do have some chop outs. River, king. That one is not going to go our way. Our stack is now down to about $200. I choose not to rebuy here as I do still have my nip button, so I do want to be able to go all in here. Just preserve my equity when I'm all in, and it sounds like the right strategy to easily lose my nip button. It is down to just me and Lee with our nip buttons. He raised it up to $225. Mo Money makes a call on the button, and I have to push my stack here with the 8-6 offsuit. We take a 3-way flop, and it comes down queen 6-4 with 2 hearts. Lee bets out for $350. Mo makes the call. Turn is the 3 of spades. Lee now checks it over. Mo goes all in, and Lee folds. Looking pretty good for us. I table my hand, but unfortunately Mo has the queen 8 suited and has us in extremely rough shape. The river is the 3 of clubs, no help to us, and Mo scoops. We end up rebuying, but only for $1,000. I do want to keep my stack short just for the nit game. Unfortunately, this doesn't help, as we do lose the first nit game only a few hands later. And we owe everyone at the table about $70, which is about a $490 hit to my stack. First ever nit game I play, and I managed to lose it. In this next hand, TM raises it up to $75 first to act, Chaz calls in the small blind, and I defend the straddle with the 7-5 of hearts. This hand is a little bit too weak to squeeze, but anyways, we go to a flop of King 7 Deuce Rainbow. We got middle pair here. We both check it to TM, who fires a continuation bet of $100. Chaz folds, and my only option here is to call. I could find some check raises with hands like King Queen or King Jack with a backdoor flush draw, some sets, and then work in some Deuce X for my bluffs. 7 is just a clear call, so let's take a turn. Turn is the 3 of clubs, doesn't change a whole lot. I check it over, and TM fires once again a bet of $350. Don't think there's anything to do here. I think he's just got it, and we're just going to have to overfold here, so I let this hand go. Very surprised to see yet a 7 here. Looks like we folded a chop. The $50 straddle is live. Leo has limped in, and Chaz raises things up to $200. I look down at ace 4 of clubs in the small blind. Chaz is a little bit too short to consider 3-betting here. I think this is mostly a fold, but I do want to get in there, so I toss in the call, and so does Leo. We're going 3 ways to a flop of 9-8-3 with 1 club. I check it over, and now Leo decides to lead for quarter pot about $150. Chaz makes a call, and I don't think anyone is particularly strong here. I was originally done with the hand, but I think I'm just going to attack this small sizing. So I raise it up here to $600. Leo does find the fold, however Chaz does stick around for the call. The turn is the Jack of Clubs, pretty big action card here, and this pretty much seals our fate. Chaz is about $1,500 behind, the pot is $2,000, there's only one size here, so I go all in. Chaz has turned himself an open-ender, so he calls it off. We are off to the river. It is the 6 of diamonds, no help to us. We are unfortunately going to get stacked once again. The Nick game is back on. Lee is first to act and raises it up to $100. We got 2 callers, and I look down at King Queen offsuit in the small blind. I think this is an amazing spot to squeeze. I think everyone's going to be quite wide here, so I raise things up to $650. And once again, Pierre to my left is in the tank. Once again, I'm in the small blind, and Pierre's in the tank in the big blind, and throws in the cold 4-bet all in. Everyone else folds, it's back on me. Oh, this is rough. This is second time doing a cold 4-bet. I didn't see what he had the first time, but I think he could be getting a little bit wide here. But we only have King Queen offsuit. There is the Nick game. But eventually I do just decide to toss in the muck, and luckily we do get to see the other pocket queens here. But I do feel like I'm getting bullied around a little bit now. Alright, Dat has limped under the gun, and I look down at pocket deuces on the button. Raise things up to $100, and we do get a caller from the straddler as well as Dat. So we're going 3 ways to this flop. The only 3 people that have our nip buttons left is me, Leo, and Chaz. So pretty big pot here. We go to a 9-7-3 flop. Really bad board. It's not even one that I can keep bluffing on, and now Leo leads out. I just think we're gonna have to toss this in the muck. He could be doing this a little bit wide because of the Nick game, but we have 2 outs to improve, and we're just dead against even draws. So I toss in the muck, and we were beat by a pair of 3s, so a little bit unfortunate there. It is down to Chaz and I with our final 2 nip buttons, and he has straddled it up to a whopping $500. I went from 2-5 to 5-10, 500. That is a 100x jump in stakes. But I look down at ace 6 offsuit in the hijack. And I think with 5 big blinds and the Nick game, this is a clear shove, so I am all in. TM now calls on the button with king 9 offsuit, and Chaz sticks it in blind and has queen deuce offsuit. So let's take a flop. It comes down 8-8-5 2 spades. The turn is the 4 of hearts. Can we get a hold? River, ace of clubs. We do manage to get a hold, and we manage to not lose the Nick game as well and win a $5,600 pot with ace 6 offsuit. What a wild game this is. The Nick game is once again live, and so is the $50 straddle. It folds around to me on the button with jack 10 offsuit, and I raise it up to $150. British Bulldog calls on the big blind as well as the straddle, so we're going 3 ways to this flop of queen 8-4 rainbow. Checks to me, I see bet here for about 1/3 for $150. British Bulldog folds, and now Leo puts in the check min raise to $300. I do have a gut shot and position, so I'm going to toss in the call here. We go to a turn. It is the deuce of spades. Doesn't change a whole lot. And Leo now fires out another bet of $425. Calling is probably the standard play here, but I think, do I have any raises for value here? Like, would I raise a set here? And the answer is yes, because the pot would only be around $2,000 if I make this call, and we'd still have about $4,500 behind. So definitely want to find some raises with bluffs as well. So I raise it on up with the Jack 10 offsuit up to 1150. This is going to set up a nice pot size river shove if he does call. However, Leo was just getting out of line with a 10-5 suited, and we were bluffed with the best hand, but still happy to get rid of my nit button early this time. So this hand I wasn't really involved in, but Lee raised it up to $325, a full 6.5x in early position. Mo Money does make the call. I looked down 8-7 suited in the blinds, and I think that this is just a fold. We're not too deep considering how big this raise is, and playing a suited connector out of position is just going to be rough. So I just tossed in the muck, and I don't actually feel like a nit now because 8-6 suited folded in position, as well as pocket sixes in the big blind, so not that bad, but the flop does come down ace 5-6. We do flop the open ender. Turn is the 4 of hearts, so we would have made this straight, and river's the 9, and Mo Money would have had a set, as well as Pierre having another set as well. So that could have been a big pot if we're all in there, but a little bit unfortunate of us to fold there, but I do think it is the correct fold to make. Mo raises things up to $75 in first position, and I have ace 3 of spades next to act. I 3-bet up to $250, folds back around to Mo, and he makes the call. Going heads up to a flop of queen, jack, deuce, 2 spades. Pretty good development here. I'm going to start with a small bet of 1/3, around $175. And Mo makes the call. Off to the turn, it is the 4 of clubs. We now have a gut shot to go along with our nut flush draw. Mo once again checks it over. Now I take a look at his stack, and it's looking like we're around 5 SPR, so we're going to want to bet around 115% pot here. Now against most opponents, I think this hand would be an amazing hand to put into our check back range, just because we get jammed on. It just sucks so much. But I think versus Mo, we have an easy bet call here if he does decide to jam. So I do decide to fire out a small overbet of $1,000, and Mo makes a quick fold. Dat has raised it up in the cutoff to $75, and we look down at ace queen offsuit and put in the 3-bet up to $300. Once again, Pierre is in the big blind and in the tank. Not a third time. Come on, surely. But yes, he does put in the cold 4-bet once again, up to $900. Dat's now thinking about it for a little while, and then overcalls, and it's back on me. We're out of position. We're just going to be dominated too often, so ace queen straight to the muck. They do go to a 10-9-7 flop, and Pierre actually manages to find the check fold versus Dat's flop set, so really nice play by Pierre. Lee has limped under the gun, and Chaz has raised it up to $100 in the cutoff. I look down at ace 10 offsuit on the button, and I would normally 3-bet or fold this hand, but at this point in the session, I'm just feeling like what a massive tell or something, and when I 3-bet, someone is just going to be able to cold 4-bet 5 deuce offsuit against me, and I don't know, just feeling a little bit squished here, so I go ahead and flat this. I think it's going to be ahead a decent amount of the time, just seeing how wide Chaz is, so I toss in the call. So does Leo. We are going 3 ways to a flop of queen 10-8 with 2 hearts. We do have top kicker with the middle pair. The action does check around to me. I think this hand just functions best as a check. I don't mind a bet here multi-way, but I think checking is the better option. So I check it back. The turn is the 4 of hearts completing the front door flush draw. Leo once again checks it, and Chaz now fires out for $200. Straightforward call here, so I toss it in. Leo gets out the way, and we're off to the river. And I'm feeling pretty good about my hand. You know, I think he would bet a flush draw on the flop here as well as a queen, so I'm feeling pretty good. And especially so when the river comes down the queen of diamonds. Now, Chaz is thinking it over. He's in the tank. And I decided that I was just going to min raise any bet he threw out just for value. I think, you know, just trying to eke out like a tiny little bit of value. But Chaz goes for an overbet of $1,000. And I really, really, really wish I thought about this longer because I still really like a raise up to 2,200 here. Just given how the hand played out and how the board ran out, it's just so rare that we're beat here. But since he did fire an overbet, I just snap called it off, and we do manage to pick up this pot against the King 10. We are now playing 5, 10, 25, 50, 100. This is high stakes poker. Folds around to me in the hijack, and I've got king 5 of diamonds, and I raise it on up to $250. Pierre to my left throws in the 3-bet to $675, and we get an overcall from British Bulldog as well as Leo, and it folds back to me. And I just can't fold here, so I toss in the call, and we're going to this $3,000 flop. Can we get some diamonds? Unfortunately not. It comes out 10 high and connected, and I'm just going to have to check fold this hand. Unfortunate. We pick up the ace 4 suited in the under the gun position, raise it up to $75. Folds around to British Bulldog and puts in a pretty large 3-bet up to $300, full 4x. Folds back around to me, and this guy's pretty loose, so we're going to have to toss in the call here. Go to a flop of Jack 9-9, 2 clubs, 1 hearts with a backdoor flush draw. I check it over, and he fires out a 1/3 bet of $200. I think we got a float here with the backdoor flush draw, so I toss in the call. We go to the turn, it is no help at all, the 10 of spades. I check it over. He fires out some amount, there's no way we can continue, so I just toss my cards in the muck, and he does show the king 4 offsuit, and up to this point in the session, I just thought this was like every hand that my opponents were playing against me, that I was getting trashed, but, you know, watching this back, I actually feel pretty good. They just had it almost every time, so this is the first one that I really got just absolutely owned. So in this next game, it is me and Dat down to the final 2 for the knit game. I have just been so card dead, just not being able to pick up anything to be able to battle for these pots, but Lee raises up the ace 9 off, Dat 3-bets into the 10-7 suited. They go to a flop, Lee leads out, Dat floats, turn is a blank, Lee bets out once again, or Lee checks it over, Dat fires out a big bluff, and Lee folds, and I lose the second knit game of my life, and owe everyone at the table $80. It's another $560 out of my stack. This session. The $50 straddle is live. Dat has raised up to $100. There is a caller, and I look down at 8-7 of diamonds on the button. Great squeeze spot here, so I raise things up to $450. Folds back around to Dat, who looks over and wastes no time in just 4-bet, ripping it in for $6,500 or so. Folds back to me, and at this point, I just think that I've got this massive tell. Every time I 3-bet, I'm just getting 4-bets, and I'm like, what is going on? There must be something I'm doing. But he just had kings this time, so we just ran into it again. Okay, I raised the king 10 of clubs up to $75 under the gun. I get 2 callers that folds around to Alan, who puts in the 3-bets up to $400. I think players are just attacking me at this point because I'm getting 3-bet and 4-bet a lot, so I'm going to defend here. I think king 10 suited is fine, especially seeing some of the hands that are getting shown down, so I'm going to toss in the call here. Go heads up to a flop of ace 9-4 with 2 diamonds. We do have a backdoor flush draw, but Alan now fires out a half pot bet of 500. For this size, we're just not going to float with our backdoor flush draw, but good thing we didn't because he just had us dominated again pre-flop. When will it end? The $50 straddle is live. Leo has limped in, and I limped the small blind with Jack 8 offsuit. Just trying to play some pots and not lose my 3rd knit game. Pierre, Bulldog both limp as well, and Bones checks his option. We're going 5 ways to a flop of Queen 9-3 Rainbow. Action checks all the way around, and the turn is a 9 of spades. I fire out for about 1/3 here, $75 my gut shot. Pierre makes the call, and now Bones puts in the raise to $400. Now originally I was just going to snap fold this, but we do both have our knit buttons, and I think he could be getting out of line here a bit. And I just think that he's going to bet a 9 on the flop at a very high frequency since he has his knit button. You know, he just wants to preserve his equity, get it in, and lose it. So I don't think he has trips here. So I'm going to go with my read, and I just rip it all in here. This forces Pierre out with top pair. Amazing. And we're once again bluffing with the best hand, but we do manage to get it through and pick up a almost $1,000 pot here. The $50 straddle is live once again, and Chaz has raised it up to $150. I look down at ace jack suited on the button and 3-bet it up to $500. Folds around to Bones, who now shoves in a short stack for $1270. Gets back to Chaz, and he decides to rip it all in for about $6,300 effective. Oh my goodness, this is just over 100 big blinds, and we are getting 4-bet shoved on again here. I thought it over for a little bit. I just don't think Chaz is going to be doing this too light, you know. Bones is still all in, so he needs to beat him to win the pot. So I don't think we're ever going to see an ace 10 offsuit or an ace 5 suited here. So So I don't think we're ever getting it in ahead. We're either flipping or just getting it in completely crushed. So I make a disciplined fold here. Turns out they both had king queen suited. So what would have been a dream situation? And let's take a look at this flop. Yeah. That would have been a $13,000 pot going our way. That one is very unfortunate, and I'm sure I'll be thinking about that one for a while. I raise the king jack offsuit up to $75 in early position. Bulldog makes a call on the hijack, and so does Leo on the button. We're going 3 ways to this flop of ace, ace, 5 with 2 hearts. I'm going to start with a small bet here of $75, and only Bulldog calls. So we're heading to the turn. It is the deuce of hearts. It is a really nice card to keep barreling here while we're holding the king of hearts. So I fire it once again for $225, and this gets the job done. We finally get a bluff through where we actually didn't have the best hand. That one feels good. The final hand of the session for us. Bulldog has put on the $100 straddle. Dat limps on the button, and I complete in the straddle with pocket 4s. Rolls around to Bulldog, who puts in the squeeze all the way up to $1,000. Dat gets out of the way, and Bulldog has been very wide in spots like these all night, so I spring the trap with the pocket 4s, and I am all in for roughly $5,000 here. He asks for a count, asks if I can take back around $800, and he'll toss in the call. I say, no way, Jose. And just to make sure he doesn't call, I say we can add on an additional $5,000 and run it. He says nope, and lays it down. So we do get that one through. Happy to pick up the $1,200 or so dead money out there. Oh, those are some insane stakes. And with that, we end the session. Here are the stats. The graphics are slightly off. I was down $3,950 to end the stream, but I had an absolute blast doing so. I cannot wait for my next stream game. Alright guys, I'm back home. I had a blast playing, even though I don't think I ran too well. But let's see, I was in the game for I think $10,000, out for $6,050 for a loss of $3,950. That is my biggest loss so far. But I played pretty well, I think. So I'm not too upset about it. And realistically, that's like what, less than 200 big blinds? Feels like I broke even. 2 hands, I don't know, I think folding the 8-7 suited out of position to a 6.5x raise is perfectly reasonable, especially with 2 very aggressive players behind me. I think we're just getting squeezed too often, so unfortunately we would have hit the straight. And then folding ace-jack suited to Big Daddy Chaz's like 6k reshove I think is also okay. I just don't think we're ever getting in good there. At best, we're flipping. Like at best, and most of the time I think we're just gonna run into ace-king, ace-queen a lot. So yeah, unfortunate that we would have flopped trips there, but oh well. I'm excited to watch the replays and see what my opponents had, because I was getting tooled pre-flop. Almost every time I 3-bet was just met with a 4-bet or a shove. Not a lot of post-flop play. Really just couldn't push too much post-flop out of the session here. But still had fun. Only lost 4,000. I was pretty much convinced I was going to lose at least 15 the way it started. Did lose 2 stand-up games for like over $1,000. That one hurt. I was just mostly card dead for a lot of it. I don't know if I was just card dead or if people were just playing crazy loose, but it just didn't feel like I was picking up many hands. Definitely no premiums, but that's the way it goes sometimes in a short 5-hour stream. Hopefully we'll get to play some more. I'm going to message other streams in the area in Houston, San Antonio, see if I can get on their streams. So that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that, and I'd love to do that some more. And I would like to play higher than 1-3, which is mostly what the Lodge offers right now. Well, that is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Here's to some better live streams, and hopefully this is not the start of a huge downswing.